Support for this podcast comes from Invent Together. I bet you didn't know that inventing activity by Black inventors peaked in 1899, and it has never recovered. Black and Hispanic college graduates patented half the rate of white college graduates. That's just one of the reasons why you need to know about Invent Together. When our patent system gets more diverse, our nation will get stronger and more successful. Find out how you can help diverse inventors and unleash economic opportunity at inventtogether.org.
Welcome to Quarter 3, the best basketball podcast that never ends, but actually ends with me not knowing, 1, how to sync clap, 2, how to count, and 3, how to hit buttons in vMix, which is the perfect combination. It's like watching Russell Westbrook try to put on clothes while thinking about.
Damn.
It's a lot of things that kind of go together, but kind of don't, all at the same time.
Damn. Do you think Russell Westbrook has one of those Clueless machines that just has the mix match?
Yeah.
And then he just like hits the button at random every time.
I think that he just goes to I think he has a Zoltar machine in his bedroom and he puts a coin in it and hopes that something comes out that gives him inspiration. And it was like, hey, Zoltar machine, let me put a quarter in. It comes out. He's like, grapefruit. And he's like, oh, I got it. No doubt. No doubt. We got it, baby. Let's go. Grapefruit. It's time. I am Khalif Adams, just one of your wonderful hosts here on Corner 3, the best basketball podcast on the Fan by Network. I am joined with the one, the only, Nikki Grayson. How are you doing, Nikki? How you just gonna point for the audio?
All right, okay. There's shit everywhere. I don't know what's happening. All the basketball is over. I mean, that's not true at all, but the boys basketball is over. And I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I also forgot how to podcast.
Hey, it happens. It happens all the time. I mean, I've been there for many, many years.
Was I supposed to hit record? That was a joke. That was a comedy joke. As soon as it left my mouth, I was like, that hurt Jordan.
Me too, because I was like, my eyes got wide too for a hot second. John Warren, how are you doing? How's everything going?
I'm okay. I'm all right. I don't think I've forgotten how to podcast, but I think Nikki's rubbing off on me a little bit. I don't have cranberry juice in the corner of my office. Should I get some?
Yes.
You don't
want to come back to
it. It's gone, boys.
Mad cranberry juice all day. It's good for your liver.
Paradise, put up a cranberry juice.
It's good for your liver. That's what they say. I don't know if it's real, but that's what they say. It's like it's good for you. It's good for your UI. It's good for your UI. That's what I've heard. It's good because I can see while I'm doing the video version of the show what Nikki was doing before we switched to the scene that John could see him in, and seeing the pre-cran happen and then the post-cran reaction.
It's just I knew he got
a disgusting amount of cranberry juice.
I knew that Nikki grabbed the cranberry juice. I didn't expect to see Nikki's upper thighs while drinking cranberry juice. I was like, whoa.
Hey,
it's shorts weather, baby.
Get it in, team side meat. Go on, do your thing. Yeah. It is amazing. I am excited to be rocking with you. I was on the ISS.
Why did I drink more?
Why did you drink more? What are you doing to yourself?
It's lukewarm. It's been on that shelf for 2 weeks.
Oh no, that's been there for a month.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't go bad.
It was open though.
I mean, it still doesn't go bad.
Yes, it does. Oh.
Nothing goes bad. Nothing goes.
No. Let me look. Let me look.
Nah.
The FDA.
November 13th, 2020. No, you're right, Khalif.
Yeah, it doesn't go bad.
I can save this baby for a couple more months.
Look at the label. Does it say refrigerate after opening?
That is a suggestion.
You better check that medical insurance. Make sure it's paid up.
Look, in the traditional ways that it works in a black household, everything on the packaging is a suggestion.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, been Louis got his hands all over this. His baby's been pasteurized. I can't get sick.
Exactly. It's been pasteurized. It's like hot ginger ale. Hot ginger ale fixes everything. That's it. So that's
why Dak's not going to get the vaccine.
Well, first of all, if I ask you, does that break HIPAA? Second of all,
what are we doing? Can we talk about basketball?
Yeah, let's talk about
basketball on this Corner 3 podcast. Again, thank you all for listening this week and every week. I was on the ISS going, I don't even know. I was in LA actually, LA in my new job for orientation. So the folks here held it down and knocked it out with a beautiful show. It was glorious. It was wonderful. I missed you both. But I'm back. And in between that time, the NBA championship was captured and taken and brought into the folds of the Milwaukee running around like they ain't got no goddamn sense Bucks. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Did you both see the game? Did you watch the game in its fullest entirety?
I watched, I think, every moment of that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just had a feeling. I had not watched every minute of any other finals game, but I just had a feling because I
woke up in the morning.
Shut up. I part of it was like I had a feeling that they were going to win, and the other part of it was the Bucks fans kept saying Bucks in 6, so I would have loved to have seen it if Phoenix had won, and then to see that entire crowd go Bucks in 7, Bucks in 7, Bucks in
7 for the culture.
But it didn't happen that way.
So the title of this particular episode is Giannis, We're Sorry.
God.
And I think that fits for multiple reasons. I think we are the best basketball podcast on the on the planet. We are also the most wrong basketball podcast on the planet.
On a long enough plane, though, huh?
Yeah. I mean, true. Yeah. This was our kind of an inaugural year for Corner 3. So we're still growing too.
Yeah, we're still
as
none
analysts,
of these games count.
None of them count.
Yeah. We're about as right as Charles Barkley is on every other Thursday. Like I think that's a way better percentage than most people get. So I think that's reasonable in that respect.
Do you think we would have been better if we started during Summer League? Oh, they didn't do Summer League last year though.
No. I mean, maybe
that's why we're struggling.
I mean, we talked a lot about basketball during the bubble games.
That's true.
And then that led into the formulation of Corner 3, which I think is actually pretty awesome. The question I want to ask is, with this game being as fantastic as it was, I think this series, let's go back a step even. The series is now over. We've seen, the Bucks win it. I think this is one of the better basketball seasons and basketball playoff seasons we've seen, and an amazing finals. It was one of the best finals I've seen in a long, long time. I would love to hear your thoughts, both of your thoughts about like how you kind of felt the finals went, some expectations, some things that you thought were going to be there that didn't happen. Nikki, I'm going to go with you first while we look at some beautiful footage of those things.
I would put this series as number 2 in the last 10 years behind 2016 Cavs winning, as far as the amount of fun that I had watching as a neutral. Just like good basketball. Like it was bizarre to watch Mike Budenholzer, again, a man who looks like he has no idea what the fuck he's doing, somehow stumble into doing the correct thing. But also Giannis very clearly being like, I have to win this basketball game. And putting on one of the most unbelievable individual performances in a finals game probably of all time. Like dropping 50 in your first finals in game 6 to win at home with 5 key blocks. like unreal time to show up. He hit 16 of 17 free throws. like I don't know. Like, that's just unreal. And yeah, I mean, I said this on Twitter, but as soon as the Suns let the money counting guy into the arena for game 4, this game, like, this series was over. They like burned all of the Suns and 4 guys' energy.
Yeah.
So,
John, what are your thoughts about kind of the series and the overall kind of the way things ended?
First of all, Mike Budenholzer, it doesn't just look like he doesn't know what he's doing. It looks like he's arguing that he can't bet his shoes at a blackjack table. like he wishes he could just take his shirt off and bet that at the blackjack table. Anyway, what do you mean I can't do that? Give me one of those free vodka tonics.
Else.
Yeah. Caught my room. Anyway, I thought it was a really fun finals. I thought it was interesting to see. It's almost like the Suns. It was weird. Like, the Suns had such a fun energy through the entire playoffs, and then it turned into shtick in the finals.
Yeah.
It was like they were almost a weird caricature of themselves, where Chris Paul was like a cagey veteran, but he was also just like flopping and like being really confrontational about stuff and like being pretty defensive and strange in a way that like kind of worked against the Clippers, but really didn't work against the Bucks. And Devin Booker had this like youthful energy throughout the entire playoffs, but in the finals, it looked like inexperience to me. And it's just, I guess that's what happens when you meet up against a team that feels like it's somehow destined to win. And at no point in the playoffs did I feel that way until maybe game 3 of the finals, where I was like, I think the Bucks are going to win this thing, because it just feels like they've just got this kind of weird energy that's propelling them forward. I think Giannis coming back to play after that knee injury completely changed the tone of the entire series. And it was a lot of fun to watch, and I totally changed my mind about Giannis.
I think this was one of those series where, again, the name of this is Giannis, we're sorry. I think that it is rare to see a player kind of come into their own in a way that is so timely. Like, that doesn't happen in that same way. Like, usually the playoffs are usually a thing about momentum. And the Bucks had kind of up and down momentum. The Suns had a lot of kind of forward momentum with the way they were playing, because a lot of people were like, the veteran may get a ring. Everyone was kind of like rooting for Paul to get a ring. But his second, or I would say the best player on that team was also peaking in a way that felt like, yeah, they have good like ability to kind of take this on and do this kind of thing. Plus, they were getting a lot of love through their second and third options and role players in a way that felt like, okay, like we could figure this out if we kind of hard nose this through it, because the Bucks were, and I still didn't really recognize how offensively potent they were as a team. It didn't really always come across like that, because again, it always felt like Giannis was doing things that we didn't want him to do from a gameplay standpoint. But like Chris Middleton, could have won the MVP. Drew Holiday definitely stepped up in big ways. Brooke Lopez.
I think it's like all of these guys played the best basketball of their lives over the course of the last 4 games of this series.
Yeah.
And like, that is unbelievably difficult to do. Like, because everyone has to be in sync. I think the thing that happened with the Suns is that they got tired. Like, Chris Paul just looks exhausted. Yeah. And that has always been an issue for Chris Paul, like deep into the playoffs, because he expends so much energy trying to get his teams to win, that by the time he gets to near the end, he's like, Yeah, he's got nothing left and the tank's empty. Also, it didn't help that the Suns had no interior defense because two of their three centers tore their ACLs in back-to-back games. So that also is not, if you're trying to like do a basketball, you're going to want your like tall guys to have their ACLs and not rely on fucking Frank Kazminski to make plays for you.
Well, here's the interesting part about that part of the conversation, which I think is also in there, which as much as we give Budenholzer, is that how you say it?
Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Budenholzer?
No, it was right. You had it right.
Budenholzer. See? Damn it. As much as we give him a lot of crap about like not knowing what he kind of wanted to do, in contrast to the way that Monty kind of coached the last couple of games, it was really interesting to see how fast their rotations were. Yeah. Like, and I mean, from a personnel perspective, like they were cycling people in and out in ways that didn't feel like it was hampering the overall offense. But the way that the Suns were doing things, like you talked about the interior defense part that kind of just ran away. You said defense. Interior offense went away. Like Ayton became a non-factor. Like they weren't even looking for him in the pick and roll, which was killing the Bucks in the first couple of games, and they moved away from it, especially with the fact that Booker, while also feeling inexperienced, felt shook during the last parts of the thing.
I think that game 3 loss, like you said, John, I think that was it. I think that block, destroyed Ayton's confidence, I think. And then I think once they like looked and they were like, piss. And then that was, I think, kind of it. I also, I'm going to say something controversial.
Okay.
Controversial. If I were the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks, I still fire Mike Budenholzer.
I actually think I do too.
What?
I do.
I legitimately don't think he coached in this series.
He was Barry Switzer in 1995 for the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't do anything. He just had a good team.
Yeah, I think the players were like basically dictating the pace, and I think it was extremely clear in Game 6 that like Mike was just kind of holding on and assuming that his guys were gonna have it. And like, I don't know. I would still fire Mike Budenholzer because like you can't, if you're the Bucks, you can't say that you weren't gonna fire him before they won this, right? Right? Like if they lost this series,
if he lost, then he was gonna get bumped.
He was gonna get fired.
Oh, it was widely reported that evening. I watched like almost the entire post game coverage of ESPN. Like people had it like in their hand. Mike Budenholzer was going to be fired if they lost this series. Yeah.
And
that's
like
so wild.
I still fire him.
I still do.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Who would you pull in though? I mean, that's like anybody
else.
Anybody else?
I would
send Chauncey and Jason Kidd to the Bucks. I know they just
it went real well the last time Giannis and Jason worked together.
Yeah, right.
So super good.
Okay, so wait. Since the running consensus between you two is that Mike B.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. He didn't do anything. He's going through his head right now. Going through his head. I didn't do anything to do this.
Yeah, he's the guy in the group project who shows up on the last day and is like, all right, so what parts do I have to say?
Yeah, and he shows up wearing a nice shirt. Because he's wearing a nice shirt, the teacher's like, oh, he contributed.
Oh my God. I love the hate right now for this one man who looks like
It's not even hate. I just think that he's a bad NBA coach who has failed upwards.
Well, here's a good question for you.
Becky Hammon.
Oh yeah, everybody. Becky Hammon. I would take Teaspoon. You know,
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Oh my God!
If Tim Duncan taught Giannis Antetokounmpo how to play the post, this thing is fucking over.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, it would be over. It would be over.
That's
in a real
free
way.
idea, Milwaukee Bucks. In fact, I would say no, not even that. I would send Becky Hammond to be the head coach and Tim is Tim Duncan to be the assistant. That's what.
Oh, how dope would that be though? That would be
so fire the
fantastic.
whole staff is what you're saying.
Fire the
Everybody goes. My question would be, who is a worse coach? Mike B or Steve Nash?
Oh, I think Steve Nash actually is a good coach.
Really?
Yeah. The problem with Steve Nash is that he's gotten the absolute worst roster to try to be a first-year coach with, I think.
Yeah. I also think he did unbelievably well considering he only had all three of his guys for like 4 or 5 games all year. And he was basically like rotating his 3 like centerpiece guys in with Blake Griffin and company. He had LaMarcus Aldridge for a week. Yeah. And then he had to retire because of his heart. So like, I think Steve Nash, for his first year, I think he did an incredible job. I know that team was like built to win, like specifically built to win, but like there's only so much you can do.
Oh, I mean, I was just going off of the like seeing you do things factor, because I never saw him with a clipboard in his hand. I never saw him talk to another player.
His mind, though.
Yeah, he must be on some mind meld shit, because I've never saw him like draw up a play in any of the stuff that I've seen when he's on the sidelines. He looks like he's coaching a soccer game, as opposed to a basketball game.
Who are you drawing up a play for, Ka? Like, are you pulling Kevin Durant aside to go, hey, you're going to run this play? I don't think a play has been written up for either James Harden or Kevin Durant in roughly 6 years.
Here's the thing. I'm okay with that if that's because you have those 3 kinds of superstars where they can be their own floor generals, right? Like they can do that thing. Yeah. At least play the part. Like do the thing where you stand on the side and look sad, mad, confused, or angry. Yeah. Or move your hand in a direction that looks like it's like telling a player to do a thing. Yeah, even if it's not even those 3, he didn't do any of those things. It's like he's the dude who stands on the side when you go to the end of the court. He's like, yo, can I have a Gatorade? And the dude just hands you a Gatorade. Like that's how he looks on the sideline.
Now, let me hit y'all with this. Do you feel this way? And I get it, Khalif.
Yeah.
But do you think that you feel this way because Steve Nash is the only attractive coach in the National Basketball Association? So like I would wager that every other coach in the league is being performative because they are all very schlubby and they're all like kind of out of it and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right?
Or in Rick Carlisle's case, you look like Jim Carrey.
Exactly.
Shit.
But I think if Steve Nash tomorrow was like, I'm signing myself for the vet min.
Yes.
You would be like, all right.
Because you know why? Because as Steve Nash as a player coach would make more sense because he would use his body more. He would actually like use his arms in a way that would do a thing that would make me at least understand that he's not mummified on the side of the court.
Because what you've done, Khalif, is you've solved the problem for the Brooklyn Nets. A lot of people are like, what do the Brooklyn Nets have to do next year if they're gonna want to win the championship? But all we have to do is get Steve Nash a whiteboard with a basketball court drawn on it.
Yeah.
Hey,
and it's over.
I don't need a lot in this life.
82-0.
Fake it for me. Just that's all you got to do. Just think it was your red night. Fake it for me. I don't care. Do what you got to do.
Wow. Put that on the back of the box. We should box these podcasts up and put that on the back.
I'll just say it. Figure it out. Make it seem like I'm doing something. I may not know what I'm doing, but let me feel like I'm doing something.
He's just writing a Shake Shack order on every single whiteboard. That's all he's doing.
He could be writing fucking algebra on that shit. I don't give a fuck. Just make it seem like you're doing a thing, because it doesn't look like he's doing literally anything. What I do want to dig into really quickly, because I think that is an interesting layer of like, what do you think they're trying to do versus what? Well, I mean, let's go back a step. The Suns faded away really, really quickly. They really didn't nail a lot of the things that we thought they were going to nail. Mm-hmm. So many parts of the ecosystem within that team felt like they fell apart. Is this a thing now where we look at this Suns team and we say, we got to blow it up? because the conversations have been, at least on the Chris Paul part of it, because a lot of people have been like, Chris is going to go somewhere anyway. He's going to go to another team. The rumors have been swirling for a long time about that. Even if he was, if he won or if he didn't win, do we think Chris is bouncing somewhere else?
No. He can make the most money in Phoenix. Also, from a union perspective, it would look so bad if the vice president of the players union took a cut in pay to go somewhere else. Also, the cumulative age of the Phoenix Suns, I think, is 18 years old.
It's still like
they're all
Chris Paul has raised the
Yeah.
average to 19. Yeah, that's
like they're all
basically it.
so young. I think the thing that happened is, like John said, they got shook, and because this was their literal first playoff appearance for like 90% of the team. The only two people on that team who had been to the playoffs before this year were Jay Crowder and Chris Paul. Oh, I guess Frank Kuzminski, because he was on that Rockets squad.
Sure.
That makes some sense.
Those three guys are the only people who had playoff experience. Like, to do that in your first year, to get to the finals, incredible accomplishment.
Well, and Cam Payne and Cam Johnson are going to be better next year. Like they've got like young players that are not in that superstar echelon at all, but like they're going to be better next year because they're so young.
If
they lose Chris Paul
under the cap,
I mean, they could. I was about to say they could make moves. They could go out and get a couple of those like mid free agents that would really add to their depth and quality. And I don't know. I would definitely not blow that team up. I mean, that team feels closer now than the Bucks 2 or 3 years ago did to me. That they were like winning all those regular season games.
I feel like the Suns are closer now than the Bucks are right now. And the Bucks just won. Like I can't explain that.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I would put the
fair.
Suns to be odds-on favorites.
I feel that
for
I
next
would
year.
too. Well, but it's like that happens all the time. Someone wins the championship. It's really rare that they repeat. And I think like there are elements of that team that are going to see some shakeups. I don't think the Bucks put that exact same team on the floor next year. And I also agree. I don't think Budenholzer comes back. So like there's going to be some sort of shakeup, and I doubt that the Bucks will win it 2 years in a row. But what a performance. And I think the Suns will definitely be back next year.
Yeah, it was really wild to just see, and I go back to what Nikki said about like when Game 3 hit, and that was the one with the oop at the end.
Yes, that Giannis blocked.
Giannis blocked, and it felt like even after that, from a gameplay standpoint, forget all the X's and O's that went down, forget all the stuff that happened from the like who stepped up, who didn't step up. It felt like angels in the outfield kind of stuff at some of those points. Where like, I remember a ball that was an air ball landed directly in somebody else's hands on the Bucks after like 4 misses on a shot where the rebound was never grabbed by a Suns player. That stuff just makes you know, you're like, yeah, you're not gonna win. It's over for y'all. Like it's not gonna happen this year for you all, because if the ball is doing that, that's just signs from whatever the universe is trying to tell you at that point, which is kind of wild to think about too. Do we think that with this particular championship now, and this is kind of a dumb question, with that performance, with the way that Giannis, put this team on his back, how much of a change does that mean for the league in terms of trying to push him forward? Like, is this now the thing? Because there is this weird gap between LeBron and everybody else still, where there is, and you would have thought that Curry would have taken that spot. I don't ever feel like he's ever been the face of the league. We talked about this a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Does Giannis now become the face of the league in that way?
Yeah, and I don't even think they have to push him, which is
I thought his post game speeches were like were like if a publicist had been whispering in his ear, he couldn't have said better shit.
Yeah,
like he was saying like unbelievably personable. He was funny. He was humble yet confident.
Imagine having that kind of composure after winning the thing that you've been trying to win for your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
I'd be in a puddle on the floor.
I don't know. There was almost, it's corny, but like there was almost a fairy tale quality to like, they brought up that all three of his brothers have an NBA championship now. And he was very emotional about that. He talked about kind of following your dreams and chasing your dreams, which like usually sounds so unbelievably trite, I think, coming out of like most people's mouths. But like, I sat there and I was like 36-year-old grown man. I'm like, I feel emboldened by this jacked child that just won an NBA championship, and I'm like, cool, man. Like, I go for it. Like, I became a Giannis like fan legitimately in the span of about an hour and a half. And I don't think they're gonna have to push him hard at all. I think he's super likable. He's obviously a fucking super soldier. And I don't think they're going to have to try that hard. They could pull some Stephen A. Smith bullshit and say that because he doesn't speak English as a first language, it's it's a problem. I would not put it past the leak to do. Nikki, we can't do this. We can't create this controversy on a Friday. But it's like they've had issues like that before, I feel like.
Sure.
But they would be making a mistake if they treated it like that, obviously.
Yeah.
I think like one of the hardest parts if you're Adam Silver, which is this part is definitely not his job, but I assume that he is the only person that works for the league. It's him and Scott Foster, the only two employees of the National Basketball Association.
Wow. How do they do it?
How do they do it? But like if you're Adam Silver, I think the issue, at least in the last like 4 or 5 years, right, is that like you need the face of the league, especially in 2020s moving forward. You need them to be likable, right? So like that's the reason why KD and Harden like are not. They also, I don't think, are interested in being the face of the league, but like it'd be impossible to push either of those guys as the face of the league. LeBron old, also already the face of the league. So like, that's fine. But like the reason Steph, I think, fell off is because he got hurt right when it was supposed to be his time to ascend. Right. So I think he missed the boat, and then there was a vacuum for 2 years because it was like he got injured, and then it was the bubble, and then it was this season. And then they didn't make the playoffs. So like, whatever. I think it was just like a perfect storm of stuff. Also, like I think the other thing, the reason I felt like bad about all of the shit that I've said about Giannis is that like none of this is new. Like it's not like he won the game and then suddenly became
magically
a nice guy.
Transformed. Right.
Like he's always been like this. And I was like, I guess I'm the asshole.
I think you're right.
I felt like that, Nikki. I felt like that. Totally.
I agree. I think you're right, but I will say this: I feel like the doubt that had been placed on him for so many years lifted in that span.
Yes,
and so that doubt lifted, and I do feel like whether this is real or perceived, and it's probably perceived, I did perceive this kind of lightness of character. That I don't know. I think there was a lot of weight on him for a long time. That's not fair to judge someone based on that weight. It's not.
Yeah.
But I did feel like that lifted, and I think it just made me feel, like you said, very guilty. I was like,
damn.
I feel like such an
really
asshole
wrong about
after this
guy.
finals.
So many mean
I feel like
things.
such an asshole on this, and then said it all on this show. Like I said on the show,
it's
like
all
people, and it's
recorded.
funny. It's all recorded. It's on Twitter. I'm sorry. But it was one of those things like when I would tweet certain things about Giannis and be like, I hate the way he plays. I hate the way he's doing this thing. People are like, yo, why do you have beef with Giannis, yo? And now I feel like I'm such an asshole.
I don't know.
Because you know what it is? I think when I go back and I think about what I said, this feels like I'm in therapy. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's
this is good. This is a good.
This is me really being with
a
my
breakthrough.
people and saying what it is. Yeah, this is a breakthrough.
Talk skills.
Yeah.
I hated Giannis because I'm not 26 and also 6'9".
I wish I had shoulders. But it was the ideas around, and this goes back to like old school basketball, right? It's like you always kind of think about your favorite eras of basketball, and you kind of analog and you imprint stuff on people that aren't fair. And I'll be honest, it's like, yes, I still don't believe that he should be running the point and trying to dribble through traffic as a 6'10" man. And trying to use a spin move to get like is his main move. I still believe in that. Like that doesn't go away. But the thing that I came away with from the series was that his game is actually a little bit more nuanced than I was giving him credit for. The free throw thing is what made me love him.
Yeah.
The free throw thing is what made me actually like fall in love with Giannis. Giannis, I love you. It's one of those weird things where you see so many people fight that part of their game when they know they're not good at it. And to see him buckle down and like, I don't care what y'all are going to do to me right now. I'm going to make sure that if I'm going to do this for my team, I'm going to do this thing for my team. And like you said, 16 out of 17 free throws in the last game. Every game that he was at home, masterful from the line. I think there are very few players that we've seen in the league over the last 2 decades that would have humbled themselves enough to make sure that they got that stuff right in a way that felt reasonable. Like Shaq never did that. That was the thing. Even, he could have changed his mechanics. He could have figured it out, but he never wanted to. Giannis I feel like that's the beauty of where his game has become. It's a layer, it's a layer of humility that goes through him that makes him a superstar that we haven't seen before in lots of different ways publicly. I think Steph has a little bit of that, but he's just good at everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
coach.
Yeah, he also has a good coach who moves his arms.
True.
Like, coaches who move their arms, they actually coach.
Listen, Steve Kerr is pretty bad at moving his arms if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't know how to wear a mask either.
Well, no, he didn't move him fast enough to stop Michael from punching him in the face.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think I'm just really excited to see what happens if Giannis is unlocked and has a legitimate coach telling him how to play basketball.
Oh,
I don't think they fire him. They should. They're not going to. You know what they're going to do? Oof. They're gonna be like at 5. They're gonna be the 7 seed at the All-Star break, and they're gonna fire. But
I bet you Giannis goes to bat for him and makes them not fire him.
Ooh,
I bet you that's what's actually going to happen.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
You know why? You know why? It's because I wouldn't do that.
Nikki, you are not as nice as Giannis. I love you. I love you with my whole heart and soul.
Giannis and I are
Nikki.
the same kind of flavor of person, and I'm saying, I know me, therefore I know Giannis. I wouldn't do that. No, I don't know if he particularly cares about that coaching staff. I feel like he probably feels a weight on his shoulders to lead that team more than I think he thinks his coach does. I just don't think he would ever say that out loud.
I think that Nikki would definitely be on Team Baratheon. And I don't think that. Wow. I don't think that Nikki. I don't think that Giannis would be on Team Baratheon. I think you would definitely be like, "Yo, I see what's happening here. I will move these chess pieces to my will so that I can do what I need to do."
It's so much. The whole thing about Game of Thrones is that if people just shut the fuck up, they wouldn't have died.
They're so gossipy.
Like they talked all the time.
It was.
Yeah.
It's so easy to keep your mouth shut. That's why I don't think I would be a Baratheon, because I can shut up sometimes about certain things occasionally, rarely.
There's a girl in the West that has what?
How many?
How many?
I really do wish that they had like bodegas in Game of Thrones, because I feel like all the bullshit would have been told on the bodega.
Yeah.
It would have been like, "Yo, fam, she got 3 motherfucking dragons, son, and yo, them dragons, they breathe mad fire, b. Yo, she ain't gonna kill everybody. Everybody gonna die." And then
Murdered
people
the guy
like, "Word."
for no reason, as
No
a
reason.
joke. He was literally chained up. Killed him and then his kid.
Yo, free Rufus the Dragon, son. Yo, Rufus gotta go, B. Yo, we gotta figure out a way to get him free, son. Anyway.
It's the most anybody's talked about. Yeah, it's the most anybody's talked about Game of Thrones in the last 4 years.
The most.
We're sunsetting quarter 3 at the end of the season because it's the end of the season.
We're doing we're gonna call it binge mode. And we're going to focus on Game of Thrones, and then we'll move to the Marvel series, and then we will move to, I think, Harry Potter. It's kind of, I think, the 3 things that we're going to do.
And then we're going to do a review show around every Jordan Peele movie.
And we'll call it Jordan Peele in review. I think that's like not taken as a format.
Not taken.
We should do Jordan Peele in review.
Yeah.
And then we should do M. Night Shyamalan Why. We should do that as the name of the two shows that we should do.
Can we talk about Old?
Really quickly.
Really fast?
Really fast. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I will never see it.
Are you about to spoil?
I know what happens. Are you going to? Do you want to know what happens in it, Khalid?
No, we can.
we
can't just spoil the movie Old.
No. Yeah, we can. A lot of people are like, why are they talking about Old? Well, listen, it was the only commercial that I watched the whole fucking series.
It was.
I saw
there were
the
a lot of
whole.
ads.
I watched, I think, the whole movie.